Hello, hello. Welcome back to Between the Scenes with Marty and Mack, brought to you by the Triple Play Fantasy Network. Fans, we are getting ready for Week 12, and I'm going to start off by saying hello to my associate as always. Mack, how are we doing today?
Wonderful. It's a great day for baseball. It's a great day to be talking to you fine folks.
It's true. It's true. Before we hop into it, I want Mack to share his experience of why he did not get to see the Atlanta Braves play over the weekend. Mack, what was the plan here? Weren't you going to see them play? What happened here?
I was going to see the Braves play the Cardinals. I was going to get to see ancient Adam Wainwright pitch, which I was excited about. I had nice outfield seats, so I was prepared for Drew Smyly to give up about 3 dingers in my area. Because that's what he does nowadays. So I had some pretty sick seats, and it fell through because the tropical storm. Mother Nature said no. Basically.
He said no. Yep.
So instead, I went to a bar. That's it. That was my night. But it was not a bad night.
That's a good night, Still hanging out with your friends, and like I said off air, it's just another excuse to go back to the city, see another game.
Yep.
It would have been cool, though, to see a Cardinals team that is really struggling, and then you just destroy them in hopes. But who knows? Maybe next time. But, let's get into the show here, Mack. As always, we start with our hitters from the prior week, or actually, as of Sunday, this is the last day that these hitters are contributing to our stats. But, how are your hitters doing so far this week for Week 11?
Yeah, we had a pretty good week for hitters. My hitters were Dylan Moore, Jonathan India, and Ahmed Rosario.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Moore's not been great. He's 3 for 17, which is kind of Dylan Moore's never an average guy, but he's got 1 single, 1 double, 1 triple, 1 RBI, 1 stolen base.
For a little bit better for points leads.
So, yeah. Now, I'm pretty happy about my steals this week because Jonathan India went 8 for 23. That's above 300 on the average for those keeping track at home. He had 4 runs, 3 RBIs, and a stolen base. And he also hit a home run this week. So not too bad. And then 8 for 26, scored 4 runs, 2 RBIs, and had a stolen base. So that's 3 steals across 1 steal for each player so far this week. That's a solid batting above 300 there. So I'm not mad about it. A lot of counting stats. Only 1 homer across the 3 players, but I knew I was chasing speed this week anyway. Good. And it's a little bit more of I've noticed that most of my teams. This is my first year really delving into roto leagues. I played some roto head-to-heads, but I've never played like just a full season long roto.
A good old rotisserie.
And I'm doing bad. Like I'm not good, and one of my main weaknesses is steals. So I've been trying to train myself to pinpoint those guys who will be useful in the steals cap for next year. So it's a learning experience, but I'm happy about that return.
The best advice that I've indirectly have ever gotten, because I never spoke to Phil Dussault, but he's a really good NFBC player, really good TGFBI player, at Phil Dussault on Twitter. And this is something I'm always top 5 in steals after hearing his advice, but at every single point where you have an opportunity to take a player, just make sure they can do some steals no matter what. So if that's passing up on, higher upside home runs, you take Trent Grisham because you're going to chip away at it. So that's why I have Joey Wendell and Brian Reynolds and these people who get you 7 steals, 5 steals, but that all adds up at the end. So, so you getting 3 steals in 1 week. Hats off.
To our listeners, take that for what it's worth. Marty knows what he's talking about when it comes to steals. Or Phil knows what he's talking about. Yeah. And Marty does too.
There we go. So you're as smart as the people you surround yourself with, just like anything else.
Absolutely.
And awesome. Well, that's a solid week. I'll hop into mine. So my first one was Brandon Rogers. Number 2 was Willie Adames, and then CJ Cron. So let's see here. We'll start with Brandon Rogers. So Fangraphs don't let me down here. Yeah, there you are. Okay, cool. So 18 plate appearances. He had 5 hits. 2 of them were doubles, so a little bit better in your points leagues. 3 RBIs. Overall, he batted .278 with an OBP, a suit .278, so no walks there. Nothing really standing out for Brandon, but you never know. I mean, he's one of those guys that sometimes he's going to be there, sometimes he won't even play. So I rode the idea that he would be in Coors, which helped out with my last pick, but we'll get to that. But yeah, just a mediocre day at best for him, which is kind of what he does just overall. Number 2, Willie Adames, your boy, since you were the first one to recommend him after the trade, and he has been incredible since. Like he's another really good week. 7 hits, 5 doubles, 1 home run, 5 runs, 4 RBIs. He had a steal. He batted .333, slugged .714. He was really good. I mean, he just continues to be probably rosterable in almost every league. Definitely 12-team, maybe even a 10. I don't know. And then lastly, Mr. CJ, so the Rocky, he came through 3 bombs, 5 runs, 8 RBIs. He batted .350. It's only because he's been so cold and he had a full week at home, which he hasn't had in a long time. On the inverse of that, you can now drop him. He has 7 road games next week. Yep. So move Rocky away. Exactly. Nice. Well done. But yeah, so overall, actually, I had a really good week. My hitting was pretty much spot on. There was if you used all 3 of them, you got a steal, you got home runs, you got a bunch of runs, got some RBIs. So unlike last week, we were actually both really on with our hitting. So
yeah, and I think we've both been. I will say this is a little bit has been a theme throughout the show, and maybe it's just like I don't know what this effect is. I forget what the effect is. It's like when you're looking for something, you notice it. But it's like there's been a trend where we've been even if we haven't hit on hitters one week, there have been a couple of hitters where you've been like just ahead of the curve.
It's true.
For instance, Harold Ramirez. I was just talking with you off air about Harold Ramirez, how I traded for him in my dynasty. And
he was like 1 for 18 last week or something.
Yeah, and he was your pick last week, and he's got 3 home runs this week.
Yep, so I missed the wave.
But yours a week early. So, but he was one of those guys that's potentially, I mean, that's one of those things is you need, like, just in general for waiver wire pickups. I mean, you could pick up Jared Kelenic, sure, with all the prospect pedigree and stuff when, like, the big prospects are called up, but it's such a crapshoot. But the guys like Harold Ramirez who have some pedigree and have struggled and then come back up with different teams. We've seen it with Adolis Garcia, with Randy Arozarena. It seems like Yermin Mercedes, the aged veteran, is the guy to look for.
And piggybacking off that, I think it keeps speaking to we're seeing this huge discrepancy in talent between AA and AAA and the major league ball. And so I think this is a crazy idea, but like in order to get better, you got to play in Major League Baseball. And so we're seeing these guys who maybe the first 2-3 times they come up, and they're not naturals, they're not the Sotos of the world that can just come here and just blow up the game. Yeah, they struggle for maybe 2-3 years, but their 4th year they come in, they're 27, 28. Hey, they're going to contribute at least for a few months. And I think that does go into exactly what you're saying. And
that's not to say Kelenic won't be great. He will be.
I'm a holding dynasty across the board unless we get wild.
Yeah. So, but no, when you're looking, just something I've been noticing when you're looking for those pickups, look at those guys who are getting. I mean, there's always every single year the league winners are the guys you would never even know.
Yep. Just the people that just contribute each day. Who's the and real quick before we move on with Jesus Sanchez? He's gonna be taking Corey Dickerson's spot.
Yeah, he wins.
I'm getting fab across the board. This will go out, but I think we'll go out. Hopefully, no one in my league will see it. I'm putting money on him. I'm putting money on him. I'm just going to say it. I'm putting $31 on him. And the reason being, I think he's going to be there for a month or 2. Right now, I have Mike Tallman, who's just burned the hole. Kepler's back, so I'm taking out Hap. So there's stuff moving around in this league, but I'm going after him. And that's just like you said.
Sanchez is 24.
Mm-hmm.
Cup of coffee last year, I think he went 1 for 30 or something along those lines.
Yeah,
but he posted a max exit velo of like 115 miles per hour or something. Like, if you look at his exit velos in the minors, I mean, he just crushes the ball. So
there you go.
Jesus Sanchez, worth a look. Shout out.
Exactly.
We always
especially in deep leagues. especially.
Yeah, we always our shout outs always end up doing better than our actual picks.
I have so many shout outs too each week, and I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I should, but
maybe I should have. Yeah.
But okay, so
right, moving on.
Last week pitchers, how do we do?
All right, so it was an up and down week. Where did my pitchers? Oh, I was in the wrong section. All right, so I had Mike Minor, Austin Gomber, and JT Brubaker.
I love me some Mike Minor.
I do too.
No wrong in my eyes.
Man, did I call it? Because Mike Minor went 5 2/3, 4 earned runs. He took the loss against Detroit. Only 5 strikeouts. They get you a 6.35 ERA. His WHIP was well above 1.
Yeah.
And even last week, I was like, look, on paper this should be the matchup, but it would be very Mike Minor to like sleeping strong against Oakland and then blow it against Detroit. He wasn't horrible against Detroit. He just wasn't great, which is kind of the tail of the tape on Mike Minor's career.
On May 21st, real quick, Minor went against the Tigers, and he had a 6 ERA over 6 innings. So, I mean, he just – I
don't know. Maybe the Tigers are one of his mini kryptonites.
Yeah.
But, that's not the worst stream in the world. But, it's certainly not the best. It's you hope for better. One more out and one less run would make that a quality start, which I would be happy with. But alas, here we are. So Gomber is just I guess Gomber's gonna Gomber. That's pretty much it. Because he had 2 starts this week. He went 8 innings of scoreless 3-hit ball against the Padres. And then he went 2 innings, and in his 2 innings against Milwaukee, he allowed 2 earned runs in the first inning, and then left with left forearm tightness. Yep. So the matchup he was not supposed to be good in, he was good in, and then Milwaukee, he gave up 2 runs in the first and then left. So that's Gomber for you, I guess. But all in all, that's 10 innings with 2 runs. So not the worst. No. Just he didn't have a ton of strike. I think he only had 4 Ks against the Padres and 1 against Milwaukee. But and then Brubaker has had 2. He's a 2-start pitcher, and he's pitching right now. I haven't looked at his line. He did give up a home run to Harold Ramirez. That's all I know. But that was in the 4th, and it was 0-0. So not the worst start so far. It's blown up at some point. But his first start, he went 5 innings against the Nats, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, only 1 strikeout, which kind of sucks. And it's not what you want from Brubaker because he's got such a nasty slider. And
how many innings did he go?
5.
And he only had 1 strikeout.
1 strikeout, but he only gave up 4 hits and 2 runs. So lots of balls in play, and lots of outs, I guess. And not the worst stream. He took a no decision. So. It is what it is. He seems to have been pitching well against Cleveland from what I was able to catch before we started recording this. And that was the start I really would have rather had. If I could choose to start him for one or the other, I would have started him against Cleveland and not the Nats. But I would have been happy starting him against both teams if it was a weekly league. So. And
I think you're right on. I mean, his slider's really good. I mean, the stuff's there. He was one of Saris's standouts. I think it'll be coming around. I had him in TGFBI for a couple weeks. Nothing came about it. I let him go. Then he actually had a good run, and now I can't. I won't be getting him back this year.
Well, the Pirates will probably trade him, and he'll be an ace somewhere else.
Well, that's how it goes, man. All right. Was that who were your the 3 pitchers?
Mike Minor, Austin Gomber, and JT Brubaker. So a very, very mediocre pitching week. It wouldn't have killed your week if you went for all 3 of my pitchers, but it probably wouldn't have made it either.
Awesome. All right, I'll hop into mine. Starting with number 1 was Casey Mize. So Casey Mize keeps Mize, man. Another quality start. He was in Kansas City. He got the win. They won 4-3. He went 6 2/3 innings. He had only 3 Ks. So kind of, like you said, a lot of balls in play. Similar to that. 1.20 WHIP. And he just keeps doing it. He's the overall number 1 pick a few years ago. I think this is pretty much what we wanted from him, just as a Tigers fan standpoint. And we'll take it, what he's continuing to do. But again, listeners, they're going to shut him down at some point and take all his innings away. That's coming from the head coach, but Do you shut down somebody who's just getting quality start after quality start after quality start? Maybe you do.
If you're the Tigers, maybe.
If you're the Tigers, I guess you would. But
he gets LA today, yeah?
Yeah. Yes, he does. Yeah. So 407, he'll have his second start, and I think he'll be fine. Other than I think Shohei Ohtani gets a home run every game now, so we have to factor that in. Especially against the Tigers, he's already hit 2. But yeah, and then let's see, number 2 pitcher. Who do we have here? Oh, Miss Jake Odorizzi.
Or
wait,
that's Dylan Bundy.
Oh no, Mr. Oh God, see this? I try to erase it from my mind. Yeah, so Dylan Bundy. It was just, I think there were 7 earned runs. It was just, this is one of those ones where I think he's unrosterable for me at this point. And I've been touting him for a while, but yeah, he got the loss. He only went, he was in Oakland, went 2.1 innings, only had 3 Ks. ERA was 27.00, 3.00 whip. It was just absolutely brutal. So
it wasn't like he wasn't given run support either. He had run support. Just
he had it. I just don't think he's good right now. And that's just kind of where we're going to have to leave him.
In a sticky situation, I don't think it is. It's definitely not helping him.
No, I think you're completely right. And then Shane McClanahan, he was my third. We're still waiting on him. He pitches actually in 4 minutes at Seattle. He was a 2 starter this week, but like I said, I wasn't really feeling the first one as much. So for what it's worth, he was in Chicago playing against the White Sox. He went 5 innings. He had 4 Ks, 3.60 ERA, 1.60 WHIP. So that's not too bad against a really good, really good offense. But
hard to ask for more against White Sox.
Yeah. So, but so those were my 3. We'll see how that ends out. And just so you know, listeners, we're going to publish our essentially our first half ranking or our first half stats after the All-Star break. So during that week, we're obviously not going to have the Marty and Mack show. So for that week, we'll take some time, compose the stats again, get them all up, and then make a little article out of it so we can see exactly how we're doing.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll be getting that to you. And then now let's move on to the next week. It's week 12 here for us. What is that date? It's going to be the 21st through the 27th. Mac, let's start with your pitchers. Who are we pitching here? Week 12.
So I'm going to give you I'm going to go take a book out of the starting pitching streamer, Michael. Take a page out of his book and give you a shallow league stream, medium, and then a deep league stream. So let's go. Number 1, let's go with just a medium league, just a regular 12-teamer, maybe even a 15-teamer. I believe James Caprielian. I don't think we've decided how to say his name yet, but I'm going with Caprielian still. We'll call him James Cap from now on.
Yeah,
James Cap. James Cap, he is 42% rostered. He gets the Texas Rangers, who've been abysmal as of late offensively.
Yep.
And he's just had a solid year. He's just had a solid year. Last time I recommended you pick up James, he did not do very well. But since then, he's just picked up, it seems like quality start after quality start. He is 4-1 on the year. So far, he's 7 games started. He has almost a 30% K percentage, 26.8. He's got a 2.84 ERA. And he's just a rookie. I don't think he's a future ace, but he certainly is a solid streamer. I think a future starting pitcher 3 in the Oakland system.
Yeah.
And they're really good at getting all the value out of guys like that. I like the matchup against Texas a lot.
It's a good one. Yep.
Then we'll go for a shallow league stream. Mr. Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease gets Pittsburgh in the middle of the week. And weirdly enough, I looked at Yahoo. He's 71% rostered, which puts him 1% above our threshold. But I made a little bit of
He's been dropped 4% the last days.
That's what I was just looking at, which is why I made an exception. Because if he's getting dropped before his Pittsburgh start, what are you doing? Go pick.
You know why he got dropped? I think I do.
What's your theory?
He had one bad game against Houston. Yeah. That was it.
That's what I was looking at.
Yeah, that was it. And before that, he was doing well. And at Cleveland, there was a blow up there. So it's looking like, but yeah, that was it. He came off a good start in Detroit. Goes against literally the best offense in baseball, and then
the Astros.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so he's supposed to, and everyone's gonna have a blow up start, especially a young pitcher like Cease and Houston. You can't really, you can't really
Flynn just got blown up, my boy. It was horrible, but it happens. You're going against. I mean, they're the best WOBA across the board, righties or lefties. It's amazing.
Yep. So I think that if you happen to be in a league where someone was dumb enough to drop him before Pittsburgh start, pick him up.
Yep.
I like Cease a lot, and I expect if the drop trends continue, he'll end up under 70% relatively soon, although people will start picking him up. Smart people like you will pick him up once you realize he's supposed to get the Pirates. So,
exactly.
And then number 3, for if you're a deep league, I like Ross Stripling a lot. He gets Miami this week. He's 10% rostered. He's coming off a 7 innings pitched, 9 strikeout, 2 earned run start against the Bo Sox, I believe. And over his last 5 starts, he's 2-1 with a 2.45 ERA. He looks good. Stripling has these stretches in him. He's 31, and he's kind of bounced back and forth between bullpen, starting rotation. Never really had like a full season put it together. And I don't think he's gonna put it together this year. But when he's got a good stretch going, I think he's worth a pickup. And against an offense like Miami, especially with the offense backing him, I think he's a good stream for a win. So.
And real quick on Ross, I think Ross is actually I was going to put Ross on there, or I was thinking about it, and then I saw you did it, and I was like, I think that is one of the best streamers. So actually, that's one of the ones that stood out most to me. Did you see what Ross Stripling had to apologize for?
Yes, yeah, I did.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you tell the listeners what it was in case they did miss it? Did you see it?
So basically, was that Bichette? No, it was Panic. Joe Panic, I believe. Right, yep. Tried to make a barehanded play at third base.
Yeah.
And it was ill-advised. There was really no reason for him to rush the throw. No reason for him to really barehand the ball, and he just airmailed it over first base.
Yeah.
And Stripling very clearly got angry with him on the field, and Ben Verlander tweeted it out and was like, "I hate that. You never show up your teammates."
I'm literally watching that tweet right now. Yep.
Yeah, right. And I mean, Stripling gave up a home run to the next batter too, which is brutal. There was 2 outs in the inning, I think, and Stripling gave up a 2-run shot. So, it's understandable to be mad, but I respect it because Stripling said, "I apologize. I hate it too." Yeah,
and that's why I brought it up because it was really cool. I
respect it.
He did it to the media. Then he even went online, and even put it out there on Twitter saying, I was wrong.
I was wrong. Absolutely.
Wow.
Which, it's cool. And that's like, I don't know if anyone listening does it. I'm sure everyone's aware of how baseball works. It's just one of those. That's one of those unwritten rules that I'm okay with sticking around. It's part of the game. You don't show up your teammates. You don't.
It's like you at work. If you're at your job and someone screws up and you get in their face, what are you doing?
It's something I don't love. It's probably my least favorite thing about the NBA. I like to watch the NBA, but I don't love the. And some of that's showmanship, and that some people enjoy that, but I don't love
how getting mad at their teammates.
Yeah, well, I don't like Doncic, Luka Doncic, and Kristaps Porzingis. So Porzingis doesn't like playing second fiddle to Doncic, so he's complaining about it. And Doncic's not happy. A clown.
He was a clown in New York. They're paying him way too much money. I'm actually a huge Luka fan, which you don't even know this, but I actually watch as much Mavs basketball as anybody. And cool. He's a jump shooter. Yeah. He doesn't do anything else. He's a jump shooter.
So
he's going to get hurt because of the way he plays. Unfortunately, he's too big, and that's a whole different discussion. We can go on. We won't go on because
for sure
it's not a basketball show. But I hear what you're saying. It is this very baseball is conservative in that, where everyone's supposed to be kind of a little more. Your suit and tie. You know what I mean? We're professional here, where it's not as animated. But that does lead sometimes to what other people say is a boring product. But that's a completely. We can go on for days.
It's for forever. But I respect Strip. I respect Strip's tweet.
Yeah, that was really cool.
His willingness to apologize for that. It's cool.
All right.
And so I reward him by picking him up in multiple leagues.
There we go. I'm sure he's going to go really big in Fab this week if he's not already picked up in my TGFBI league. So who were your pitchers again?
Okay, we got James Caprielian, Dylan Cease, and Ross Stripling.
All right, awesome. All right, I'll hop into my Week 12 pitchers. Number one, we're going to start off with German Marquez, and he's going to be at Seattle. I tweeted about this yesterday. I was looking into Marquez and kind of like what he's been able to accomplish over the last 30 days. And over his last 37 innings, he has 34 strikeouts with a 2.68 ERA, a 1.03 WHIP. He's got 5 quality starts. He's only 64% rostered, and he's playing against the 7th worst team in WOBA against righties, and that's the Seattle Mariners. They're terrible.
Yep,
so I think Marquez is going to pop in there and do well.
Yeah, I picked up McCullers was injured in my home league, and so I put him on my IL slot and picked up Marquez for 2 weeks. I got like 3 of his starts, and it was beautiful. I cringe every time like I put him in my lineup because like you never really know when the
blowout factor for sure. Yeah,
it's been nice.
Yep. So again, just gonna ride that wave, and I don't have any. At Seattle, I think he's gonna be able to ride. All right, number 2 is gonna be Jake Odorizzi, who's someone I actually usually I was really big going on him going into the 2020 season. He didn't have a good year, or maybe he got hurt. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but I really soured on him this year. And I kind of, then he got signed really late, I think like the day the season started or whatever. But 2-star pitcher. He's at Baltimore, 3rd worst team WOBA against righties, and at Detroit. I mean, as you know, Detroit's terrible. So he's only 14% rostered. I think they kind of have him on like an innings limit a little bit, where he's only going like 3-4 innings here or there. So worst case scenario, I think you'll get like 7-8 innings against 2 terrible teams, and I think that's going to be worth something. He might go 5 in both and get you 2 wins and look pretty good.
I
think it's going to be
on that. I was just looking at Odorizzi, and I just realized that Stripling's also 2-star. He gets Baltimore on Sunday.
Yeah.
So
okay. There we go.
So
yeah, that's what I was looking at earlier. I thought about Stripling. Yeah. I think that was a great call. Yep.
All right. Yeah.
And number 3, your boy, and I only say that because you almost got to see him play. Adam Wainwright, going against Pittsburgh for all the reasons you went into why you want to go against Pittsburgh. He's still only 52% rostered. I think people just think he's done, which is fair. He's very old. I think he's 39, 43. I don't know.
Somewhere in between those 2 numbers.
Somewhere in there. But yeah, so over the last month, 33 innings pitched, 29 Ks. He has 4 quality starts. So he's going deep in the game still. 3.00 ERA and a 0.85 WHIP. I mean, over 33 innings. That's actually really good. I think he only has 2 wins because the Cardinals have been just historically bad offensively.
Only 1 run against the Braves today through 6.
Wow.
So, he's going to get the win. The Cards are up 9-1.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a good thing you didn't go to that game.
Maybe, because Arenado and Goldie have each hit home runs, blast from the past.
That would have been cool to see that.
It would have been cool.
But whatever. It'd be better to go see an actual win. So I'm glad you missed that. Wainwright's still doing well. It's going against the Pirates. They're dead last in WOBA. They're batting 288. Oh God, weighted on base average. That's really bad. And then fourth worst against righties. So really good matchup. The Pirates are terrible, and Wainwright's been really good lately. All right, Mac. Let's go through our Week 12 hitters. Who do you got for going for the next 7 days for our listeners?
Just real quick, Waino also has 11 Ks against Atlanta
today.
Today. But well.
Okay.
That's Atlanta for you. But Week 12 hitters. I got
Hey, do you need a moment after seeing that? That's horrible.
I'm glad I didn't see that. I'm glad I didn't sit through that.
That's brutal.
The only run they've scored has been on a strikeout.
The ball got away and they scored. Oh my God.
Freddie Freeman scored on a wild pitch.
There you go, Freeman listeners. You get your run.
He got a steal today. He's 49 career steals. He stole against Yachty.
Wow.
All right.
Yachty's actually, just real quick, he's missed. I saw him throw 2 balls into the outfield.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's old.
He's old. It happens.
He caught the OLD. It
happens to us all.
At some point.
All right. I got a trio of middle infielders for you today.
That's useful because that is a hard place to fill.
Yep. So we got J.P. Crawford for number 1, 19% rostered. I have him in my 20-team dynasty that I've talked about a couple times on here. And if you don't own him in a deep league, you may not know this, but JP's batting .370 since the beginning of the month of June. He has been pretty much lights out, hit almost every single day. He's had a little bit of a power surge. I mean, he's a small guy, but he's hit 3 home runs in the month of June. And he'll get you a steal every now and then. He's quick. So, I mean, at this point, he's on pace for a 10-10, maybe 15-10 season, somewhere around there. But I like him for this week and because he's been just on fire.
I'm looking right now. One of those was a grand slam.
Yeah. And speaking of guys who are on fire, this is just a little bit of a shout out because we've talked about him a lot of times on the show. Raimel Tapia, he's got a 16-game hitting streak. I almost recommended him this week, but he only has 5 games, and I didn't really like his matchups. But if you get the chance to pick him up the rest of the season.
Real quick on that, I actually wrote that down. So really good call, Mack. So 5 games, there's 5 teams that have 5 games. Rockies, the White Sox, the Angels, the Giants, and the Mariners, okay? The Braves and the Mets are scheduled for 8 games because of doubleheaders. So
I did break my rule with Crawford has 5 games, but I liked his offensive matchup, and I was struggling trying to find another guy this week. I don't know why. I just couldn't find guys who are like in the right.
Hey, some weeks that's how it shakes out. That's why you draft a good team.
Yep. So, but speaking of guys who I really like, Colton Wong, we've recommended him a couple times.
He will be the thumbnail.
He should be the thumbnail for this week. He's 26% rostered. He's just off the IL. So far, he's batting .275 with 4 home runs and 5 steals on the year for the games that he's been healthy.
Yep.
He's been hitting well. And Brewers are on the slate for quite a few games. I believe they get at Arizona this week, which is nice because Arizona is one of the best hitters parks in the league. Similar reason to Colorado, it's just a little bit above elevation. So,
and then they're at home against Colorado, and their pitching's been awful. And today, Colton Wong, he's in Colorado right now. He's 2 for 2 with a home run and 2 RBIs.
Oh baby, I started him in a bunch of leagues. I'm happy about that. I didn't even know that.
Go. Yep.
All right. So Wong, every time he comes off the IL, this is his second IL stint, and both times he's come off the IL just like on fire.
His oblique, right? Isn't that what was hampering him?
Yeah. He had one was a leg problem, I think quad or something. What was oblique? And then finally we got Luis Arias. I can't roll my R's very well, and my mouth's dry. Arias. Yeah, I know you're supposed to roll those 2 R's, but I can't. I'm white as is. And I've got no moisture up in here. I've been talking for 30 minutes, so Luis, I'm so sorry. 15% rostered. He's got second base, third base, and outfield eligibility in Yahoo leagues. He's coming off the IL, and he's been unlucky all year. Luis has been a league average bat, 97. Weighted runs created. He's like just barely above 300 WOBA. But according to Fangraphs, his xWOBA is 360. His exit velocities are up. His BABIP is actually not super high for a guy like him. It's sitting right at 300, but Louis usually has a relatively high BABIP because of all the balls he puts in contact. I'm expecting him to contribute, to be at least a couple category contributor for the rest of the year. I think that he's going to turn it around for the Twins. I think that he's just been really unlucky for pretty much all year, and he's coming off the IL, and it's a good time to pick him up, especially if you're in the average category.
Exactly. I mean, he's been the last couple of years, he's been Mr. 300 or above every single time.
Absolutely.
And actually looking at your players, Mack, if the listeners are looking at their player pool right now, of all the free agents and they're looking to pick up somebody, how would you rank the 3 that you gave?
Definitely rest of season. It would be Colton Wong for sure. There's no reason he should be 26% rostered.
Completely
he should be 50% rostered at least.
Mm-hmm.
I get you got to drop them for IL spots because this year's crazy, but pick him back up.
Yep.
And then probably Luis for his average contributions, and then JP. But if you're looking just for a stream, I really do think JP is gonna have a couple more weeks of good hitting. So I don't know, but for rest of season for sure, Colton Wong, Luis, then JP Crawford.
Awesome. All right, and I'm gonna hop into my Week 12 hitters. Number 1 is the OG Joey Votto. He's back, baby. I love my vets, and Joey Votto has came through. I mean, he's 29% rostered. He has 2 games at Minnesota at Target Field, and then 4 against your Atlanta Braves. The last 14 days, over 38 plate appearances. He has 10 hits, 9 runs. This is big for him. And Votto's selling out for the long ball. He has 3 home runs. I absolutely love it. It's going to make his average go down a little bit, but he always makes up with that for his walk. I mean, he's one of the best guys ever with being able to draw walks. So, 391 OBP over the last 14 days, 12 RBIs. He even has a stolen base, baby. So he's been doing a little bit of everything. Have you been paying attention? I
saw him steal. He stole third base because Machado was watching the crowd do the wave.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he was on second. And
That's amazing.
He just ran up. No one was watching. The crowd was doing the wave, and Machado was like looking over to the side, and he just took third base.
That is I don't know, think of a bigger difference of how I imagined what a stolen base looks like when you look at it in the box score and then how it was actually achieved. Yeah. That's pretty incredible. So there you go, guys. I mean, that's the vet, though, in him where he's able to see that and he's paying attention, but don't expect that to happen again. And I guess that's why it makes all the sense in the world now. All right, number 2 is Bobby Bradley, Mr. Cleveland, 26% rostered. He has first base eligibility. He's going to have 2 games in Chicago versus the Cubs, and then 4 games in Minnesota versus the Twins. And over his last 4 games, he has 3 home runs. And I'm trying to pick him up across the board. In all my big leagues, especially the 15-teamers, any of my NFBC teams. He's been hot lately, which is great. Now the strikeouts I think he's over 30% K rate, so they're coming, So I think they're slowly starting to build the portfolio on him and figure it out. But since he's been called up, he's 11 for 25. So I'm going to try to get him for this week, and we'll kind of see where he goes. He may be, cuttable after that, but everything I'm seeing, I want to roster him. Number 3 is Luis Urias, Milwaukee. He's 9% rostered. And as you know, Mac, and I always talk about this, I love multi-eligibility, right? It just makes you feel good. You have
it feels so good.
It does, especially when you're in those bigger leagues and, something crazy happens to your shortstop and you're like, who am I going to put in? Oh, here we go. He's second base eligible, third base and shortstop. Over his last 45 plate appearances, he has 12 hits. He has an OBP of 400. So he's doing a little bit of everything. He has a home run. He's got a steal, 5 RBIs, 6 games next week, which is good. 3 at Arizona, and then 3 at home versus the Rockies. So I'm really liking those 3. Again, Joey Votto, Bobby Bradley, and Luis Urias. Mac, we did it.
We've done it.
We done did it. Now, in case we stole our StreamYards from one of our amazing associates, we should get going here as soon as possible. But Mac, where can the listeners find you here on Twitter?
You can find me at JChristianMac. I edit for Pitcher List, putting stuff out for Triple Play Fantasy, doing this show every week. Yeah. Colton Wong's 3 for 3 now.
Did what you do? What was it? That's how you're going to go out. I love it. And as always, your host, Marty Tallman. You can find me on Twitter at Marty_Tallman. Always writing for Triple Play. Just came out actually with a new article talking about my TGFBI team, which I think we're ranked earlier today. I was ranked 16th. So we're slowly chipping away at it. If I get top 15, I'll be thrilled. That would be amazing. I want to finish top 25. That'll be fine. 25 is fine. Oh, yeah. But you can always find me here. It's great doing the show, and we will see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Adios.